When did your golden child sibling finally run out of excuses? My brother Terrence could do no wrong in my parents' eyes. When I got straight A's, they said I should be more social like Terrence. When Terrence failed 3 classes, they blamed the teachers. When I got a full scholarship to nursing school, they asked why I couldn't be ambitious like Terrence, who was going to be a lawyer. Terrence dropped out of law school after 1 semester, but my parents said he was just finding himself. I worked double shifts at the hospital for years, while Terrence borrowed money from our parents every month for his startup ideas that never actually started. Last Thanksgiving, my parents announced they were giving Terrence their vacation house because he needed stability. I had been paying my own rent since I was 19. I didn't say anything because I never did. Then 3 months ago, my mom called me crying. Terrence needed $40,000 or he would go to jail. He had borrowed money from dangerous people for a cryptocurrency scheme that was supposed to make him rich, and it had all collapsed spectacularly. My dad had already given him their retirement savings, and it wasn't enough. She asked if I could help. I said I needed to think about it. That night, I couldn't sleep at all. I kept thinking about every sacrifice I made while Terrence got handed everything on a silver platter. Every birthday where my gifts were practical and his were extravagant. Every family dinner where my accomplishments were dismissed and his failures were reframed as learning experiences. I called my mom the next morning and said I would help, but I had conditions. I wanted a family meeting where everyone would be honest about what was happening. She agreed immediately. That Sunday, we all sat in my parents' living room. Terrence looked terrible with dark circles under his eyes and his expensive watch missing from his wrist. My dad wouldn't look at anyone. My mom kept wringing her hands. I pulled out a folder I had prepared. Inside was a detailed spreadsheet I had spent hours making that documented every single dollar my parents had given Terrence over the past 10 years. The cars, the apartments, the failed businesses, the credit card debts they paid off, the bail money from his DUI that they never told me about. The total was over $300,000. My mom's face went white. My dad finally looked up. Terrence started making excuses immediately, saying half of those things weren't his fault, and the economy was bad, and his business partners screwed him over. I let him talk for 5 minutes without interrupting. Then I pulled out the second document. It was a printout from social media showing Terrence in Vegas 3 weeks ago, with bottle service and expensive clothes. The same week he told my parents he couldn't afford groceries. My mom started crying harder. My dad stood up and walked to the window. Terrence's excuses got louder and more desperate. He said the Vegas trip was a business meeting. He said the clothes were gifts. He said I was jealous and trying to destroy the family. That's when my dad turned around and said something I never expected. He looked at Terrence and said, "I think we've been making excuses for you your whole life." The room went completely silent. My mom stopped crying. Terrence's mouth hung open. My dad's voice was shaking when he said he was sorry to me. He said they had failed me by treating us so differently. He said they had enabled Terrence his entire life instead of helping him grow up and become a responsible adult. Terrence tried to interrupt, but my dad held up his hand. He told Terrence there would be no more money from them, no more bailouts, no more excuses for his behavior. Either Terrence figured out his own problems, or he faced the consequences alone. Terrence stormed out of the house and slammed the front door so hard, a framed picture fell off the wall and the glass shattered on the floor. My mom hugged me and apologized through her tears. My dad just kept saying he was sorry over and over. I didn't give them the $40,000. Terrence ended up doing community service and 18 months of probation for the fraud charges. He had to sell his car and his furniture and everything else and move into a tiny studio apartment on the bad side of town. My parents and I are rebuilding our relationship slowly, but it's getting better every month. Last week, my mom called just to tell me she was proud of me and everything I had accomplished on my own. It was the first time I ever heard those words from her in my entire life.